Buckminster Fuller was an American inventor and thinker who looked at the world as a whole, seeing Earth as a spaceship that everyone shared. He became famous for designing geodesic domes, incredibly strong and efficient structures, and for his dime-action inventions, which aimed to do more with less. He constantly sought ways to improve humanity's living conditions through innovative design and a deep understanding of how systems work together. Richard Buckminster Fuller's life was a remarkable journey marked by both early struggles and profound visionary thinking. Born in 1895, he grew up in a New England environment that instilled in him a sense of tradition, yet he quickly demonstrated a mind that would defy convention. Even as a young boy, he was fascinated by the mechanics of the world, a trait that would define his entire life. His childhood summers spent on Bear Island, Maine, nurtured a deep connection to nature and a keen observation of its inherent efficiencies. His formal education at Harvard University was anything but smooth. He was expelled twice, a testament to his nonconformist nature and his difficulty adapting to traditional academic structures. However, these experiences didn't diminish his intellect, rather, they fueled his desire to learn through hands-on experimentation and observation. His early work experiences, including his time in the U.S. Navy during World War I, provided him with practical knowledge of engineering and technology, which he would later apply to his inventions. A significant turning point in Fuller's life came in the late 1920s, a period marked by personal hardship and financial instability. Faced with these challenges, he made a conscious decision to dedicate his life to finding solutions that would benefit humanity. He resolved to use his intellect and ingenuity to make the world work for 100% of humanity, in the shortest possible time, through spontaneous cooperation, without ecological offense or the disadvantage of anyone. One of Richard Buckminster Fuller's first major and defining works was the development of the dime-action house in the late 1920s. This project emerged from his desire to create affordable, efficient, and easily transportable housing. Driven by the need for practical solutions during a time of economic hardship, he envisioned a mass-producible dwelling that could be delivered by air. The dime-action house embodied his philosophy of doing more with less, incorporating lightweight materials, integrated systems, and a focus on resource efficiency. It represented a fundamental shift in architectural thinking, moving away from traditional, static structures towards a more dynamic and technologically advanced approach to living. Design science was a constant throughout his career, a methodology he applied to problem solving. Ephemeralization, the principle of doing more with less, was a recurring theme from the 1920s onward. After the dime-action house, Fuller's next major work was the dime-action car in the early 1930s. This streamlined, three-wheeled vehicle aimed for high efficiency and multi-purpose use, reflecting his doing more with less philosophy in transportation. Richard Buckminster Fuller's teaching career was a lifelong endeavor that defied traditional academic boundaries. He began sharing his ideas through lectures and workshops as early as the 1930s, long before formal appointments. 9 Chains to the Moon, published in 1938, was a significant work by Richard Buckminster Fuller that showcased his early, expansive thinking. In this book, he began to articulate his holistic worldview and his concept of spaceship Earth, even before that term became widely known. He explored the interconnectedness of various systems and challenged conventional assumptions about technology, resources, and human potential. Fuller used the metaphor of 9 chains to the moon to illustrate the vastness of human knowledge and the potential for technological advancement. He presented a wide range of ideas, from alternative energy sources to new forms of housing and transportation, all aimed at creating a more sustainable and equitable future. During the 1940s, his innovative thinking expanded to include the dime-action map, a projection that minimized distortion, and the foundational explorations of space frame structures and tensgriddy, which would later lead to his iconic geodesic domes. Richard Buckminster Fuller's focus shifted towards the development and popularization of geodesic domes, a project that would become his most iconic and enduring contribution. This endeavor wasn't a singular, sudden creation but rather a gradual evolution of his design philosophy, rooted in his exploration of efficient structures and his understanding of geometric principles. He recognized the inherent strength and stability of geodesic patterns, which distribute stress evenly across a structure. This led him to experiment with various configurations and materials, beginning in the late 1930s and continuing through the 1940s, culminating in the design of lightweight, self-supporting domes that could span vast areas without the need for internal supports. In the late 1940s, he had a significant period at Black Mountain College, an experimental environment that greatly influenced his thinking. Later, he became a professor at Southern Illinois University Carbondale, and also served as a visiting professor at numerous institutions globally. However, his teaching wasn't confined to classrooms. He saw the world as his learning space, engaging with diverse audiences through his writings, lectures, and public appearances. Fuller's approach emphasized holistic thinking, design science, and problem solving, prioritizing collaboration and interdisciplinary learning over conventional academic structures. He was dedicated to disseminating his vision to a broad audience, making education an integral part of his mission to improve the world. The development of tensgriddy was a gradual process, not tied to a single year. While early artistic explorations hinted at the concept, Kenneth Snelson's 1948 sculpture, X-Piece, is considered the first clear example of a tensgriddy structure. Richard Buckminster Fuller then recognized the importance of Snelson's work and, in the 1960s, coined the term tensgriddy, which combines tensional integrity. Fuller went on to explore and promote the principles of tensgriddy in his own work, leading to its wider recognition and application in various fields. So, while the building blocks of tensgriddy appeared in the late 1940s, the concept was truly defined and named in the 1960s. Simultaneously, he developed synergetics, his philosophical system, which he worked on and refined from the late 1940s onwards, providing a framework for his holistic worldview. The 1950s were crucial for Buckminster Fuller. He saw the rapid rise of his geodesic domes, with notable examples like the U.S. Pavilion in Moscow. He further developed his design science and synergetic geometry, gaining public recognition as a visionary. His spaceship Earth concept began to solidify, and he started taking on more formal education roles. Ideas and Integrities, a spontaneous autobiographical disclosure 1963. Operating Manual for Spaceship Earth, published in 1968, was Richard Buckminster Fuller's influential treatise outlining his vision of humanity's role and responsibilities on a finite planet. In this book, he explicitly articulated the concept of Spaceship Earth, urging readers to recognize the planet as a closed system with limited resources. He stressed the importance of understanding and applying design science to solve global challenges, advocating for a shift from competitive to cooperative behavior. Fuller argued that humanity's survival depended on its ability to utilize technology and resources efficiently, emphasizing the need for a holistic and anticipatory approach to problem solving. He aimed to provide a guide for navigating the complexities of the modern world, encouraging readers to embrace their role as crew members on Spaceship Earth and to work towards a sustainable and equitable future. He strongly advocated for current solar income during the 1970s and early 1980s. He also utilized the energy slave concept and designed the geoscope in the later part of his life. These later works were the culmination of his lifelong pursuit. Critical Path, published in 1981, was one of Richard Buckminster Fuller's final and most comprehensive works, serving as a culmination of his lifelong philosophical and technological explorations. In this book, he presented a sweeping analysis of humanity's past, present, and future, arguing that we were at a critical juncture in our evolution. He outlined the critical path as the necessary shift from a resource-based economy to a knowledge-based one, emphasizing the importance of design science and technology in solving global problems. Fuller explored the historical patterns of power and resource distribution, highlighting the dangers of continued competition and conflict. He advocated for a global cooperative model, emphasizing the potential for technology to liberate humanity from scarcity and create a sustainable future. He warned against the dangers of short-sighted solutions and urged readers to adopt a long-term, holistic perspective, viewing the planet as a single, interconnected system. Richard Buckminster Fuller's death occurred on July 1, 1983, in Los Angeles, California, at the age of 87. He died from a heart attack while visiting his wife, Anne Hewlett Fuller, who was comatose and dying of cancer in a hospital. In a poignant moment, he exclaimed that she was squeezing his hand, and shortly thereafter, he suffered the fatal heart attack. Character analysis: Richard Buckminster Fuller was a complex and multifaceted individual, driven by an unwavering belief in humanity's potential and a profound sense of responsibility for the planet. He possessed a relentless curiosity and a voracious appetite for knowledge, constantly seeking to understand the underlying principles of the universe. His mind was a whirlwind of interconnected ideas, often expressed through his own unique vocabulary and complex philosophical systems. He was an optimist, believing that technology and design could solve humanity's most pressing problems, and he dedicated his life to proving this vision. He was a systems thinker, constantly seeking to understand the interconnectedness of all things. He had a deep appreciation for nature's efficiency, which informed his design philosophy. He was also a meticulous documentarian, evidenced by his extensive dime-action chronophile, which chronicled his life and work. Despite his visionary ideas and grand pronouncements, he maintained a genuine concern for the well-being of all humanity, striving to create a world where everyone could thrive. He was dedicated to teaching, and passing on his ideas. In short, he was a visionary, a philosopher, an inventor, and a humanist, all rolled into one. Richard Buckminster Fuller received numerous awards and honors throughout his life, recognizing his diverse contributions. Here are some of the most notable: Presidential Medal of Freedom 1983. This is one of the highest civilian honors in the United States, awarded shortly before his death. AIA Gold Medal 1970, this is a prestigious award from the American Institute of Architects. Royal Gold Medal awarded by Queen Elizabeth II, this is a very prestigious architectural award from the UK. Gold Medal Award of the National Institute of Arts and Letters 1968, St. Louis Literary Award 1976, additionally, he received many honorary doctorate degrees, and other various awards throughout his life. Reference and citation: biographies and scholarly works. Hatch, Alden. Buckminster Fuller, At Home in the Universe. New York, Crown Publishers, 1974. Seaton, Lloyd Stephen. Buckminster Fuller's Universe, His Life and Work. New York, Plenum Press, 1989. Gorman, Michael John. Buckminster Fuller, Designing for Mobility. New York, Scribed, 2005. Krauss, Joachim and Claude Lichtenstein, eds. Your Private Sky, R. Buckminster Fuller, The Art of Design Science. Zurich, Lars Muller Publishers 1, 1999. Pauly, Martin. Buckminster Fuller. London, Trefoil Publications, 1990. Articles and Specific Studies. Baldwin, J. Bucky Fuller and the Dymaxion Dream. Whole Earth Review, No. 67 Summer 1990, 48-55. Chu, Xiaoyun, and Roberto G. Trujillo. Tense Gritty Structures, Fuller's Architectural Legacy. Journal of Architectural Education 61, No. 4 2008, 29-38. McHale, John. R. Buckminster Fuller, designer of the geodesic dome. Architectural Review 126, No. 751 1959, 147-153. Wang, Yunkai. The Geodesic Works of Richard Buckminster Fuller. Nexus Network Journal 3, No. 2 2001, 7-24. Robertson, Donald W. Fuller's Earth, The Education of R. Buckminster Fuller. Harvard Magazine, January-February 1984, 34-39. Additional references. Marks, Robert W. The Dymaxion World of Buckminster Fuller. New York, Reinhold Publishing Corporation, 1960. Edmondson, Amy C. A Fuller Explanation, The Synergetic Geometry of R. Buckminster Fuller. Boston, Beer Causer, 1987.